Morning, Carlos. Can we start with your team news as usual today, please? Richard Stearman, how's he after he came off injured at the weekend?
Stearman continue with his injury. We are going to have a scan today because we have to pass some hours until we can make the scan to know exactly what happened with him in the hamstring. But I think he's going to have an injury that I think it will be around, I don't know, 1 week, 2 weeks, between 10 days and 2 weeks, but everything depends about this kind of today.
How big a loss is that for you? Because you have so many games in such a short period, don't you? And he's been so influential for you as Richard Stearman.
Yes, Stearman has been one of the important players in our defenders, but at the same time, we know that this can happen, this type of situation during this year can happen. And at the same time, we need to know that in the moment one player miss a couple of weeks, he's going to miss a lot of games because during these weeks, the games are not going to stop. So we need to be ready to this type of situation. It's something that can happen in football. We hope that be the minimum number of days, but we need to be ready to adapt to any circumstance.
Is Ben Hamer back in contention for you tomorrow?
Yes, Ben Hamer, after complete the training that he's doing, he's going to be available to be in the squad tomorrow.
And Alex Pritchard as well, how's he at the moment? How close is he?
No, today is going to be the first training that Alex Pritchard and Pip are going to do with the group, but both are not going to be available to play in the next game. They will be available if everything goes well to the next game.
That's great. On the weekend, what was the most pleasing factor for you from that victory?
First of all, to get the victory. Just one victory is enough to be pressure for us because we know how important it is to add points to the table, to the team. And at the end, it's like the reason why we get the consequence, the reason why we get this winning for me was the effort of the players, the character of them, something that we talk after the game, especially in the situations that we were living. So it's very important to make that, first of all, to deserve the winning, that I think the team deserved the winning, and at the same time, the effort that the players had to do to get it, and they received the reward of the 3 points. So I think the effort, the character, the personality, and of course, yes, the winning is enough.
What does it tell us about that personality of your group and that character of your group that they were able to come from behind and win the game? Not something that this side have done very often, if at all, recently.
No, before we play these 9 games that we are going to play consecutive, we were talking about the mentality that will be necessary in this period of games. We say that one of the challenges that we will have that we didn't pass until the other day was the fact that to start the game losing and change the result. And it was like a one test that we needed that in some moment of these 9 games we are going to leave. It was the other day, so it was positive for us because until the other day, in the 2 previous games versus Stoke City or Wickham, we didn't start the game losing. So one of the challenges that we had during this period of time is start the game in not the way that we want and to have to change the result. And we know that this is going to be a character, and especially after the games in a row, play with this character with a little bit of fatigue in your back. So we know that we need to be mentalized, so try to face and beat all these type of situations that are going to appear in these games in a row.
Is it one of those factors that once you've done it once, you believe you can do it again? Is it as simple as that, do you believe?
I think it can help you to know that you can do it again, but at the same time, it's going to help you to know how hard this situation is to do it. And at the same time, something you are going to try to do and you can do, and something you will try to do and maybe it's not going to be possible. But at the same time, like you say, we know that if we did once, it means that we can repeat this again. So it's going to be like one part of the aspect that the players need to control from the mind point of view. They need to be ready to face any type of adversity.
Carol Eiting got a lot of praise after the game from supporters at the weekend. Do you think that's the best that we've seen from him in a Huddersfield Town shirt?
I never think that we were watching the best of the team, and I never think that we were watching the best of the players. Because if I think that we were watching the best of Eiting and is enough, then our process to try to continue improving him or developing him or the adaptation that we are doing with him will be finished, and I don't think any type of process like this is finished. The best of one player is when the players are ready to adapt to any type of scenario and do they have impact in a games in a row. So this is the challenge that we have as a team and the players have as a players.
And is he somebody who you do see though growing on a game to game, training session by training session basis? Do you see him progressing and getting better?
No doubts, because he arrived from play from a different way. He arrived from a league where the football was different for him because he was dominating all the games. Even in here, we have more possession that we are having a lot of possession of the ball, or we are having in a lot of games more possession than the opponent. Never is the game the type of possession that we have. Never in the same way how we are defending the opponent and the strong in the quality of the opponent that we are facing when we are in defense. So always we are trying to improve. He is trying to adaptation, and we need to continue in this type of process.
And what about Josh Koroma as well? Took his goal very well, didn't he? He kept himself relaxed and composed in a position that was there to win the game. He really showed maturity in that moment.
It's necessary for our strikers. Our strikers play one play in the left, that is being Koroma, another plays on the right. It's been Isaac and Benza. Diakabi can play in both sides. We are playing with Campbell and with Danny Ward majority part of the games in the front of the attack. And after we have a lot of alternatives to continue playing there, like Bakuna can play one of the wingers, Mati Daly can play in other sides, or even as a number 10, Pritchard can play in one of the sides too. In all these players, they need to have one responsibility in the last part of the action. So it's important that they take this commitment, that they take, like you say, this mature, to know how to face these type of moments. Something that we can train in during the week, but never is the same. The training that after the real game situation, they need to have the calm when another players feel the press. So it's important for this player to have the cold mind and try to, in one specific moment when they are going to receive a lot of press, having the calm to be waiting for the right moment to make the right finishing. And it was exactly what Koroma did the other day.
How much is he learning from those other players you mentioned there? Fraizer Campbell told us that he's really enjoying working with Josh Koroma and trying to improve him as a player. So how much do you feel Josh is benefiting from having some more experienced, more senior players in the side around him?
I think if I have to tell you about Campbell, I will let you know that even if he only have scored 3 goals until now, he is having a lot of influence in a lot of goals of the team. So, for example, a lot of goals that 18 was scoring in the last games, he were making a movements that move the defender with him, creating the space for the players that arrive from the second line. So, for example, Campbell is one player that even when he doesn't score the goal, he always is involved in this moment. Not because it's Campbell only, it's because for us the striker have to make this. He has to try to make the defenders. He has to make one movement that opens some spaces in the back for the other players. And at the same time, like you say, the spirit of that they have, like the more mature players or the player with more years and with more experience in the back, are giving to the kids or to the more young players, always is positive, because to have this mix in the team, I think is a very good balance, because the young can learn from the experienced players. The experienced players have to take a little bit of energy from the young lads, and this mix, I think, can be very positive for us. But
How different?
But no worries. But it doesn't mean anything. It's like some players enjoy giving support and advices to the lads. Another player less, are more focused in themselves. Everything is positive. Just depend about the character. But I think when the experienced player have the motivation and the illusion of the young player, is something very positive. And when the young players start to play the game with the mature of the experienced players, something positive that we need to mix at the same time.
How difficult is this 3-day period for you after Saturday's game? Recover, travel, and then prepare for the next game. How intense is that for your players? No,
it's intense for everyone, because it's very nice for me, for the fans, because every 3 days they are watching football. This is something very, really nice. But at the same time, for the players, not only for Huddersfield players, for all the championship teams, it's a very demanding period of games now. But at the same time, we love to play. We know that we enjoy a lot when we are in the pitch. Everything that we do during the week is focused just on the game. So at the same time, it's like the day of the game always is the more special day that we are living.
And Cardiff City, they got a big win at the weekend, didn't they, themselves as well? So both of you coming into this on the back of a victory. What do you make to them?
I think I wasn't surprised, but this winning is like one team that they were playing the playoff the last year. For me, they finished the league really well. Under this manager, for me, they improve as a team when he started to work with them. And at the same time, for me, they signed good players to make them stronger from the last year. So I wasn't surprised by the score or the result. It's a team that if you are not enough focus in some minutes, they can score goals because they have a lot of potential in the front of the attack. They have this type of powerful or strengths in the front of the attack they have in the normal open game and at the same time in the set pieces. So it's going to be one game that from the defensive point of view is going to demand a lot, and from the attack point of view is going to demand a lot too, to trying to create chances versus one opponent that for me they are strong, but something normal in the league, and especially when you are playing with teams that played the playoff the last year and have improved the squad during this year.
Thank you, Carlos. All the best tomorrow. Safe flight down today.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Johnny. Steve, do you want to pick up from there, please, mate?
Hi, Carlos. You've picked Juninho Bacuna at right back the last couple of games. How do you feel he's done in that role?
You made this and you made me feel I have to be worried because I have to be ready to make a lot of questions. It's only 9 in the morning, so
I'm sorry about that.
Tell me. So Bacuna was playing. Yes, Bacuna I think is a player that can be adapted to different type of positions. One of the positions that for me his more normal position is to play in the middle of the pitch, play as a number 10 or play as a number 8, because for us it's similar position. But at the same time, he was a player that the last year was playing on the sides. The one possibility that he did with us in the preseason, and we can use him to do this too. And at the same time, he was playing the last year as a right back. And for us, when we didn't have Pipa, was one of the possibilities too, because to have players with versatility that can play in different positions always is important in the team.
Do you feel he offers you something different to what D'Amico Dehaney might bring?
I think are different type of players. D'Amico have more experience to play in this position, even if he has less experience to play in Championship. But he's more natural right back than Bacuna. But at the same time, Bacuna can play versus the same team. If they change the shape or something like this, he can play in the middle, he can play as a wing, and he can play as a right back. And after as a right back, he can attack in the middle or he can attack the side. So he's a player that for me, for his skills, he can be adapted to play in this position too. And always is important to have this alternative, and after decide, depending about what we are expecting from the opponent, to decide to play with one or with another one.
Thank you. And just to follow up on the team news as well, so Christopher Schindler, am I right in thinking he's available to play tomorrow? Now
he's having the last test that he has to pass before to make the first training with the group. So the test he's doing right now, if the test is positive with him, he will be making the training now at 10 with the team, and he will travel with the team, with the squad.
And if he is not available, hopefully he will be, but if he's not, do you feel confident about Romani Edmonds-Green stepping in after his performance on Saturday?
I feel full of confidence because that's why he is with us in the squad.
And what do you feel he brings that might be different to some of the other centre-back options you've got?
So Edmonds-Green doesn't have the same type of spirit in the Championship. It's something that he needs to learn, and he needs to be adapted very fast. Unfortunately, we couldn't work with him from the beginning because he did some trainings in the preseason, but after he was injured, in the moment he was ready to train again, the medical staff were watching that his body was not enough adapted to the Championship demands or to our demands in the training. So that's why he was one period of 1 month or one period of months with the medical staff trying to adapt himself to the demands of the Championship. Nowadays he is ready. Nowadays he's fit. That's why he came back to training with the group. That's why he was playing some minutes with the B team, and that's why he was in the bench the other day. And that's why he is going to be ready to help the team if it's necessary too. And the thing that he can bring to the team is the first of all the illusion. You say illusion. The looking forward. The first thing is the desire that he has to have to be as a young player to be in this squad is the first thing that he needs to bring. Because always when they are 21, 22 years old or 20 years old or even less, they need to bring this to the team because they have opportunities in front of them that they need to try to take advantage of these opportunities. And at the same time, we know that he's a player with the ball who can offer for us good options to play from the back.
That's great, thank you. And finally from me, you've got Danny Ward as an option at centre forward. Obviously, he was at Cardiff last season. Does that offer any kind of particular advantage, having a player who knows the opposition?
For me, any type of advantage is like a lot of players have been working with them in different years. A lot of players have played versus the same opponents in different type of teams and in different moments. So I think the advantage have to come more from the spirit of the team, from the style of the game of the team, from the mentality of the team, and as a team to be ready to beat any type of difficult moment that in the game can appear.
Great stuff. Thank you. Good luck for tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve. See you down there. Stuart, anything to add, please?
Yeah, just a quick one, Carlos. How difficult is it for all Championship managers that you have to change the team so much because of so many games?
Yes, it's one of the challenges that we have right now is to keep the stability in the team, making some changes in some moment of the league. So of course, it's going to be a challenge that all the coaches we are going to have. When you have a lot of number of games, you can make the decision to continue playing with the same players to keep this stability, while at the same time to be everyone ready and adapted to can make different changes and without suffer this type of things, because never is the same when you are playing with different teammates. It's not the same because sometimes you start to develop some relation more with some players and less relation with another players, and at the same time you don't have a lot of trainings to can train together, because in the moment one group is making recovery, the other are making the compensation or the preparation of the game. But at the same time, we try to share the style with everyone. We try to have all the players with the same mentality, and one of the keys for our success can be that play one player or another player, we have to play in a similar way.
And you've got lots of players, you mentioned Juninho, but there's lots of players who've played in different positions for you. You've played different formations. How impressed are you at how quickly the players have adapted and learned the different jobs that you want them to do?
I think it was one of the targets that we have from we are here to be ready to adapt to any different saves, to different type of positions. We start to work. I remember just in the first training, we start to work with Toffolo, for example, as a left central back, just in case in some moment of this year we were thinking that he could play there. So from the beginning of the season, we tried to training with the players being in different positions, in positions that they didn't were playing in the last year, or they didn't play with a lot of number of minutes in this position. But at the same time, we know that versatility is going to be one of the keys for the stability of the team.
So how does it work? So when you have a player like Toffolo and you see him for the first time and he's a left back, do you look at him and do you think, what other positions could he play, or is it a case of just trying it out? How do you do that?
No, I think we were trying to, before we arrived here, we were watching the games of the team of the last year, and when you are watching these teams, you start to see, like for example, Bacuna, he was playing different positions the last year. Toffolo was playing more as a left back. But you were watching, like, for example, Brown can play as a left winger or can play as a left back. He was doing both positions the last year too. You are watching that Diakabi can play on the right and on the left. You were watching like Benza could be playing the right on the left. That Koroma for me was exactly the same. He could play in the right on the left, but at the same time, for me, for his skills, you are watching that he can be a striker. And for me, all the work that we have as a coach have to start before of the needs appear. And at the same time, we need to be ready when the needs appear too. So in one moment of the year, we know that we only have 2 strikers and one of them is not available. We need to be looking who's going to be the second striker for the team. So I think as a coach, we need to try to be prepared to solve the problem before the problems appear, and before to one situation be a problem for the team. So for me, is one of the targets that we have to have as a coaches, even at like this football always is going to surprise you, and at the end, always you are going to have to solve any unexpected situation that is going to happen. But if we can avoid this type of options, always is better. If we can be adapted to different type of scenarios, always is better, and that's why we try to develop this from the beginning.
And do you think these skills are more important this season than in any other, when at any minute you could find out that somebody has to self-isolate, for example?
Yeah. For example, especially with the COVID is one thing, and with the number of consecutive games is another two scenarios or two circumstances that make us that the versatility, the adaptability of the team is going to be key to have always the same style and the same identity that we want to have.